Hello, my scrappy friends, and welcome back to my channel again today. I'm really excited. I am sharing some layouts for Anna's craft cupboard. And this month I have been given quite a few Annabelle acrylic titles to be working with. So I've had lots of fun playing with lots of different collections and these acrylic pieces. So this first page that I'm creating, um, if you've been following me, you would have seen me use this so fun collection a couple months ago for Anna's Craft Cupboard. It's the Bella Boulevard Squeeze the Day collection. What I've done off camera basically is all of the pattern papers that I had already cut into, I trimmed them into rectangles and I've layered them all up in a way that I like. The yellow paper in the background has a torn edge, but you can see I've literally just made rectangles and layered them all up in a way that I like. This pattern I decided to cut a banner into, and I actually pulled out this particular photo for this collection back when I was first working with it. But I didn't get around to scrapbooking it. So as soon as I saw this title, I was like, "You have my heart, my boy and my bunny." Um, so that's what I ran with. That background paper is, I just love it. It is awesome. I love, 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 love it. It's not available separately in the store anymore. However, when I am doing this video, the collection pack is still in the store. So you get all of the papers plus the doohickey sticker sheet, because that doohickey sticker sheet is also not available in the store by itself anymore. But you get that 12 by 12 sticker sheet in the collection kit. So I've backed my photo, I've cut a couple of banners into my layers, and every time I looked at that teal colour, I was like, oh my gosh, the hearts, I'm going to cover them all up. So you'll see how I get around that in a little while. But you can see I'm just lining up all of these different patterns, making sure that none of them finish in the same place as another, and just having a few fun layers. I cut down that yellow and black pattern there. It was a bit too big, and the other side of it has got these black and white words about "you're so sweet" and "you're cute" and that kind of stuff. So I decided to use the back side of that and add in another layer. And I'm just tucking things in and seeing where I like them. I love all these bright colours, they're so fun. My son loves this layout as well, which is always a bonus. So you can see a lot of this page is just me mucking around with the layers until I get them to a place where I'm really happy with how they look and how they're layered. I am going to distress the edges of all of the patterns, and you can see I'm just arranging them basically from the top to the bottom so that I don't mess up the order. And here I go with this pattern. I wanted to include more of the hearts, so I've chopped off some. I'm going to cut that in half, distress the edges, and then I'm going to sneak that underneath the yellow so you can't tell that it is not a whole piece. I think I've finally got this trimmer the right edge to cut it on. It did hurt a little, I have to be honest, it did hurt a little to not use any of that paper on the background of this sheet. It's like an aqua colour with little rainbows all over it. It's adorable. Okay, so all my papers are distressed. I'm just going to start laying all my strips and boxes back on the page. This is a technique I have learnt from Chamel, if you're wondering. And it's a good way to use up scraps, especially. And like I said, most of these patterns were papers I'd already cut into when I used this collection a couple months ago. So it made it really easy to not cut into full sheets. We all know how hard that is. So I'm just trimming things down to a place where I'm happy with them. Like I said, making sure none of the edges line up exactly. so that I've got that offset thing happening. Pretty happy with how that's looking. And then I remembered I had this piece to include. I'm like, I have to include it, and it's going to fit beautifully in there like that. Title, I still have a couple of these bunny rabbits. I just love them. That, like, these rabbits are absolutely adorable. And we have a pet rabbit, so it just works. And so here I move that heart banner and I feel like that is working heaps better. It all just nestles together perfectly. My bunny ear nestles into my title as well perfectly. Just writing down the date that is on the back of my photo. The amount of times I've had to pull the photo off the paper to find out what date it was. It happens all the time. So I'm just adding some foam behind my photo just to give a little bit of lift and dimension. Trim that off because I don't need it. You know, I can hoard that tiny bit of paper for something, I'm sure. So you can see I'm, strangely enough for me, making sure things are straight. I am just going to start adding layers, and I'm going to work from the top down, making sure that big banner is straight. And then I've got to like make sure that it's not hanging off the edge of the page, make sure there's enough room for my title. And then I'm just going to slowly stick each layer on top of the next one until I have the whole lot layered. I love all the bright colours in this collection, the fun patterns. For a long time it was really hard for me to not be a literal scrapper, you know. There's a banana on the paper, I have to scrap someone eating a banana. So I'm glad that, I'm really pleased that Bryony does send me stuff that takes me out of my comfort zone a little bit and gets me to play with things I may not otherwise pick. Just again, making sure my layers are where I want them. Couldn't decide how I wanted this. I think I end up with it. I think I end up moving it over again. I think. I guess I'll find out in a minute. Making sure I'm sticking that down in the right place. And I realised that this was stuck in the wrong place. I think I decided that where it was, it was lining up with something else. There you go. I screwed it back over a tiny bit so that you can see that tealy colour all the way around. And I really love all the layers, all the fun patterns. I felt that I was able to kind of balance those really bright patterns with some of the more, I know they're all really bright patterns, but with some of the more subtle patterns like that yellow and that teal and even the watermelon paper, it's almost tone on tone. So I was able to mix in some of those, you know, the black and yellow and then the rainbow hearts and then that background paper, of course. And I really like the way this came together. This was a super fun page to create. If you've never just grabbed a stack of scraps and just literally stuck them together, you know, make squares, stick them, layer them up, then I highly recommend that you do. It is super fun and you can get some really, yeah, I really love it. Sorry for my head. So I'm pulling stickers from the Doohickey sticker sheet, and I'm also going to pull a couple of the pieces from the ephemera pack. A pair of pairs, and one of the stickers says perfect or something. I was like, oh my gosh, that is way too cute. So I thought the rabbit and the little boy. So you can see I'm playing with layers here. I think those tags come out. I can't remember. I decided I would pull out all the hearts, which I don't think I end up using. So you can see I have sped this up a bit. I'm just trying things out here and there. I think though with all of that pattern that's already there, it doesn't really need all that much. Doesn't mean I can't try it. I did trim the white border off those pairs. Just checking what is stuck down. So I think I cut out most of this process, but you can see I'm just sticking in little bits of foam. Because it is mostly a paper layout, I did want to break up the layers a little bit, so adding a little bit of foam onto corners and stuff just gave me a little bit of lift and dimension shadow, and I really like how that works. Sticking down my title. Making sure everything is stuck down. I think I'm going to add my journaling. It's not really obvious in the photos, but you can read it well enough in real life. And I think it's just something along the lines of, actually, I'll just get it. It's right here. It says, watching him love Olaf is just about the cutest thing ever. It's just after a week of having him and Jacob is still smitten. And this photo was taken in 2014. So our bunny is 5.5. Adding some black splatters. So I've got the black pattern paper, my black writing. I just wanted to add in a few little splatters of black just to tie it all together, because sometimes black splatters are the answer. And close-ups here, and then straight into the photos for you. So I've used 2 of the Annabelle acrylic shapes on this page. Seriously, that bunny rabbit is so stinking cute. I love him. And these titles are absolutely gorgeous. So I will have more shares for you this week using more of the Annabelle acrylics. If you haven't checked them out, I will make sure I leave a link to the whole Annabelle collection, but also to these 2 particular pieces. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave them below. This was a super fun page to put together, and because I had already cut into the papers, it just came together really easily. I love all the different layers. It's not my normal go-to, but I do like to change things up. If you've been following me for a little while, you will already know that. If you are new to my channel, firstly, a big welcome. Secondly, I hope you don't always expect to see the same thing, because I get bored easily and change things up fairly regularly if I can. So once again, thank you ever so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I will leave links to everything in the description box below, including the store and the blog. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you again with another Annabelle share very soon.